Hey, what's up, everybody? Michael here. Normally, I don't do these all the time. I normally just do regular videos. I usually wait till tomorrow to break you guys in on the news, but I just found this out. It's been out for a little bit, but well, something very sad has happened for a lot of Apple fans. And hey, what's going on, everybody? But Jony Ives, the creator and the designer for probably one of the most amazing products, is leaving Apple. And I got to tell you, it is sad. Uh, I know, Sajid, I know. Change your name. But Jony Ives has left Apple. Now, everyone is already making a big fuss about whether or not he is going to make a big difference in their designs and saying that if him leaving will be a big impact. I'm going to break it down real fast. I want to do this fast, but also want to save stuff for tomorrow's episode. Hey, what's up, Sneed? Doing a live breaking news. But basically, Jony Ives, if you guys don't know, is a designer. He worked with Steve Jobs for almost 3 decades, 30 years, almost around the same time as Apple started. He did some of the most classic designs, from the iMac to the MacBook to the iPod, and then most notably the iPhone. Well, unfortunately, he's leaving. Now, it's not because of any hate or animosity or anything like that. The reason that he is leaving is because he wants to start his own business. He wants to do his own thing. Although he will technically still be linked to Apple because they are going to be business partners, he will be supplying things for Apple. We don't know exactly what he'll be supplying. He will still have some ties with Apple. So it's not like it's going to go away. But everybody right now is talking about how his leaving and his exit is going to be pretty much, I guess you can say, Sneed. I don't want to be disrespectful, man. I don't want to be disrespectful, but you got to stop, man, with the hate. Like, come on, man. I get it. Look, I get Apple's a piece of crap at times, but bro, this is a man that designed some of the most classic designs. I get it. I get it. You don't like Apple. And look, he is responsible for some of those designs. I get it. But dude, look what you said. Since the 5S, he designed the 5S. He designed the 5, the 4S, the 4, the 3G. He was part of some of the most amazing products that have come out of Apple. Ever since Steve Jobs died, that's when things started to go down. So the least I can say, and the reason I'm so emotional about this, is because Jony Ives is not the product of Apple's failures. He was a man that I believe, in my opinion, came close to kind of being what Steve Jobs, what Steve Jobs would have wanted. People fall off, bro. Greatness can wear off. But here's the thing, dude. He's been with Apple for 30 years. And the thing with this man is that he never wanted to be in the spotlight. Look at how he always stayed quiet. And I'm not just talking to you, Sneed, but I'm also talking to everybody. Jony Ives is a man that tried to keep himself isolated from the media. He never wanted to be public. He never decided to put his name out and be a big name. If you notice, Jony Ives never came out or never was at any event. He would always voice over because he kept trying to keep a solidified life. He did not want that exposure. He wanted his work to speak for itself. Now, I agree, Sneed, that there are some designs that are not good, like the MacBook Pros with the air filters. I do agree there are some things, but you've got to remember, this man, well, love it or hate it, has done some things for this company, and whether it'll impact it or not, we'll discuss in a little bit. But Jony Ives, the man, this man cares so much for Apple. He is probably the reason why, if you picked up an Apple product, you would be able, if his job is design and designs are not good, why do you feel the need to defend him? Because the man is a legend. The man revolutionized the design of Apple. Bro, okay, Sneed, I'm going to give you a little history lesson. When Steve Jobs, he didn't design the watch, so he was not part of the watch, although I could be wrong. But let me give you a little history lesson, Sneed. When Steve Jobs left Apple, Jony Ives was not there as well. Technically he was, but he wasn't in charge of the design. It wasn't until a few years later, the iPhone 7, around that time, iPhone 8 and iPhone 10, he became the chief. He was the senior vice president. He never had the big control of the designs. It wasn't until later on when Steve Jobs came back, that's when they came in. Looked like the same for 5 gens. Well, there's a reason, Sneed. I'm not trying to defend it, but if the design is there, what's the point of upgrading? See, I could go back and forth right now, but I'm trying to respect this man's legacy because this man played a key role in Apple's success. And he is not the prodigal of what Apple's become. He is just doing his job. And I won't take that away from him. The man cares for everything. He did charity events. He gave away. Sneed, he gave away his personal design blueprints, auctioned it off, and gave all that money to charity. He didn't profit a cent. And you can look this up. This man, you could say anything you want about Apple, but I will not let this man go disrespected. That is why I'm defending him, because this man is not Apple. This man did his own thing. He just designed the products. He didn't actually make the software. He just designed it. And this man deserves some credit for what he's done. I'm not impressed by the designs. If he's a part of design, I'm judging that. I'm not talking about him personally. Well, technically, you are talking about him personally if you're not impressed with the designs, because that is his work. That is his life. The man lived and bled designs. Bro, Sneed, remember the colorful iMacs? Bro, I'm about to get you on the phone right now. I'm about to call you up right now. We about to debate this. We are about to debate this. We are about to debate this. I'm about 2 seconds away from calling you. Oh, man, I'm about 2 seconds away. But seriously, for real, I get it, though. I know what you're saying. Look, Apple definitely went down some bad paths, but Jony Ives is not the reason why they went down that path. It's because of leadership and because of things that are happening in the corporation. And that's probably a reason why he stepped away. He wants to focus his time and attention on other things in his life. He's creating his own business while he will be supplying. I think you've got to understand that this man, Jony Ives, again, this man, Jony Ives, is the reason why Apple, in my opinion, is probably recognized. Like, if you were, okay, so let's say you didn't know what phone this was. Let's pretend no notch. Let's take a smartphone. You could say anything you want about the software, the presentation, the Apple logo. If you were to look at this phone and you looked at it and you picked it up for the first time, what's going on, Sebastian? If you looked at this and you didn't know what it was until you used it, other than software, you wouldn't know this was an iPhone. However, because, Sebastian, now is not the video. This is the video to honor Jony Ives. But anyway, if you look at the design of this phone introduced a stainless steel frame, something the iPhone 4S did. They introduced Face ID. Now, again, I fucking hate the notch, but again, this thing, if looking at it, this is what iPhone looks like. Call it what you will, but if you had no idea this wasn't on iOS, you would probably think this was Android. But because Jony Ives saw and found a way to make this thing stand out from the crowd, don't even blame him on pricing. He's just a designer. So you can't say he implements pricings. Apple's the one for that. Tim Apple. So haven't heard a lot about the guy. Yep, he did the iPod, Sebastian. He is the man responsible for the iPod. He didn't do how Steve Jobs did. Steve Jobs was just there to sell. He was the CEO. He kind of did software too, but the man responsible. And look at this. Like, this is the iPad 5th generation. This was one of his designs. Steve Jobs was the marketing. This man created. So if you have and look, Sneed, there is a reason why for the 6 years the designs there have been flawed. There are specific reasons. That's not just because of him. That's because of Apple. There have been times, if you look up, Jony Ives has come out and said that they don't want people fiddling with the iPhone. That's been a request from Steve Jobs. So I'm not trying to be an Apple sheep and defend Sneed, but I'm telling you, this is this man's legacy. I'm defending this man's legacy because, he did a lot for Apple, whether it's good or bad. And although I would have liked to have seen what he would have done with headphones, why can't Ives have some accountability? He has had some accountability. However, I'm thinking you're getting some of these products mixed up. because some of the products that you're thinking of, he wasn't in charge of until a certain point in time. You see, you're talking about the 5S. From the 6, the 6 Plus, to 7, maybe the iPhone 8. Jony Ives was at first was great design, but also in a corporation, sometimes you get what you want and sometimes you don't. Exactly. See, Sebastian put it there. But again, Sneed, there was a point in time where Jony Ives was not in charge of the designs. So let me give you an example. In 2017, probably the best. Yes, I agree. The iPhone 5S, hands down, in my opinion, that is the best design. I will give it that. Even the 4S, I'll even give it the 4S. What happened was at a certain time when Tim Cook took over and he wanted to flesh out, Jony Ives wanted to take a step back because the man, like I told you, he didn't want the spotlight. He didn't want the attention. He really didn't want all that stuff. So when he took a step back, they put other people in charge. Although he was the senior vice president, he was not the chief engineer. So that means he couldn't make it himself. He would just have to supervise. And that's why the 6 had the bend. The 6S had the 3D touch, but tried to fix the bend. The 7, he tried to kind of step it up when he stepped in. But then it wasn't until the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 when he fully got to design. And I think, personally, I think the iPhone 8 mastered the iPhone 6, 6S, 7 design. It got everything right. It got the wireless charging, and it took a long-ass time. But if it weren't for him trying to step in and fix it, because look, he even saw the problems. And again, like I said, there could be some reasons why. Sounds like a bunch of trying and failing. Well, he didn't fail because the iPhone 8 sold exceptionally well when it came out. Sales and numbers don't lie for themselves, Sneed. Took 4 years to perfect the design. Well, you don't expect Picasso to master an artwork in a day. Well, that sounded kind of weird. I'm not really a philosopher. But the point is, if the man selling is marketing, yes, selling is marketing. But here's the thing. If you're going to make a product, you have to make sure of design. Jony Ives wasn't in charge of the 6, 6S, and 7. He was just watching them, and he tried. The problem was it was the people behind the mask did sell well. It was cheaper than the 10s, to be honest, especially. Exactly. It did sell well because it was cheaper, but also because it's built on R&D. Unimpressed. Look, at the end of the day, Sneed, you could say what you want about it. You could have a problem with it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be real with you. Jony Ives will go down in legacy as one of Apple's greatest creators. You could say anything you want. You could give me all these counterfacts. That's completely fine. But at the end of the day, this man's legacy spoke for itself. He gave us some revolutionary. And you know what? Just for some giggles, Sneed, I'm going to show you this. And I want to show everybody. I'm not trying to fight you, but I don't want this man's legacy to sound like, oh, he created bullshit. Let me show you something. And I want you to write in the comments. I want you to write it down if you recognize these things. All right. So tell me, Sneed, do you remember this? iMac G3, nice colorful iMac all-in-one. Do you remember the iBook G3? How about the G4? How about that? Ooh, nice. I remember those. The iSub speaker. That actually I've never remembered, so I actually don't remember that. The iBook G4. The iPod. One of those. Ooh, my favorite. This was actually my first computer. The iMac G4. The iMac G4. I remember that. I actually had that on my desktop right over there. The iMac G5. We're getting closer to the all-in-one that we're familiar with. The iPod Mini. The iPhone, the 2007 original iPhone, excluding the 6, because he just, he could not be a part of that. The iPad. iOS, okay, fine. You know what? Let's not even get into that. iOS 7, no. Apple Park, for crying out loud. And finally, oh, wow, he did Series 4 Apple Watch. Okay. All right. I like that. So my point is this. You may not like it, and that's fine. You may not like what Apple does. You may not like it. That's fine. But here's the thing. Those products is what made people enjoy Apple. Those are products that get people in. I don't see a problem he should have quit 5 years ago? If he wanted to, he should have. You know why he stayed on? Because that was his legacy. We always argue, we make fun of Apple, but let's think about it. He never, they, here's the problem, Sneed. See, you're getting your parts mixed up. You're trying to blame him like he's the one. He's not the one you should be blaming. If you have any problems with any of their products or anything at all, you shouldn't be blaming it on him or making it sound, because it looks like what you're writing is pretty much saying how this and that. But Sneed, your issue lies with Apple, not him. He's just doing his job. He has a job. His job is to make products, and his job is to make sure that the products meet the standards of what Apple tells him to do. Now, that may be a bad boy. That may be because of it. But dude, again, I'm blaming design flaw on people having to pay out of pocket for design failures. Okay, let me go break it down. So you're telling me there was a design flaw that apparently the MacBook Pros had a battery issue? If that was a design flaw, why is Apple recalling them and giving people refunds on their money or giving them a new unit? Why is it that when the iPhone 6 was bending, they had a program to give it back? Why is it, let me think about this one. Why is it that the Apple keyboards, the faulty keyboards, which we obviously know are faulty, why is Apple still continuing to give them back in? Not because there's just multiple lawsuits, but because they have to, because they know they're wrong and they're going to cave in. But here's the rub. How do you sort out who's telling the truth and who's part of the situation? Apple doesn't do anything at first. You're right, Sebastian. But here's the thing. If they don't see it, they're never going to know. So it's good that they're suing, because the more Apple sues or gets sued, the more they'll be able to. They literally had a creative program, Sneed, when it started bending. Like, this is the thing I'm talking about. See, this is the thing in the tech community, and you guys are the perfect example. This is the perfect example of what I call the whatchamacall. What did I say? A dumpster fire? That is what I said. This is the perfect example. All that I was presenting to you tonight was a man's legacy. You fix it. I work with them. I'm in school. I literally took this apart and put it back on. I'm not trying to argue if you like a product or not. All I did tonight was come in and talk about a man's legacy. And you know what, dude? The crap he made millions of dollars. At the end of the day, they made millions of dollars. I ain't trying to be argumentative. I ain't trying to, change your mind. But I'm trying to lay out something. Exactly. Sebastian wrote that. You know what? I'm going to do it. A man who did some great and some wrong, but still is a human. Let that sink in. That is a great quote, Sebastian. I will give you props on that, brother. Props to you, bro. Props. That is a great quote. Everybody's human. Everybody's got a support for everybody. Look at you, Sneed. You said it. You got to fix it. Probably that's your life. You got to do whatever. You will remember him as just a guy. But you know what? I can't change your mind. But you know what? If that's the way you want it, go ahead, man. Just remember one thing. In the future, things aren't going to get any easier. Apple is not going to be any more easier than they are today. And Apple is just going to keep doing the things they do. And you know what? We may let them to. And you know something? At the end of the day, I personally think that Apple is going to fall because of Jony Ives leaving. Because their designing team, if you look, like I told you, when he didn't take in charge of the iPhone 6, look what happened. He wasn't in charge of the iPad Pro, although everyone does say. You know who was really in charge? And I'll pull him up. I'm going to pull it up for you. The real man that's really, if you want to blame anybody for all this junk that you're talking about, because I wanted to keep his name out of this, but this is the real guy. Engineer. This is his engineering name, or how do you say it? His real name. And it's not Jony Ives. He was just a designer, but he didn't build it. Well, it may actually be worse, because this is the man that I think you should be blaming. And I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm gonna pull his name up, and I'm gonna show you who the real guy is. The reason you have all these issues. I try to keep it peaceful because this man obviously has got his thing. But here's the problem, Sneed. And this is why your facts are wrong about Jony Ives. It's because of this guy, if I can get a hold of it, because it's giving me so much problems. This is the man that is the reason why Apple has faulty problems. Jony Ives has come out and said he wants to make them better. It's because of this guy, not Tim Cook, although you can argue Tim Cook has some handling in it. I'm going to pull it up for you right now because I really got to show you this guy. Here. So in this article, when they released, they talked about how the iPad Pro was bending. Remember when the iPad Pro was bending? That should never have happened. I don't know how that happened, how they let that design pass. Jony Ives never came out and said anything about it. We don't even know. We don't even know if he was part of it. But here he is, the man in charge of all the problems. The guy's name, if I can pull it up, The Verge doesn't even give you. Not even Jerry Rigg. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to give you the name because this is bothering me now. Now I got to find the name. Here. The guy's name is Dan Riccio. And I'm going to show you what he looks like. Dan Riccio. That's his name. This man right here is the reason why all of Apple's products are bad. He is not only the senior vice president of hardware engineering, but he is also in charge of the entire engineering field. So every product, before it gets sent to Jony Ives, or even before Jony Ives designs it, we got to remember, this is the guy that builds the product, that ships it out. This is the man. This is the guy. And if you're wondering, I don't know if he's Italian. He said he was born in Massachusetts. Well, Johnny's first customer will be Apple. Yep, he is going to be their first customer. Let's see. I'm just curious about something. Where is he from? Nah, he's from Massachusetts. He's from Boston. So he's a Boston guy. That explains everything we need to know. Thank you, Mike. So, Sneed, you know you blamed Jony Ives. You were talking all that stuff. But this is the real guy. This man right here. The man in charge. So then he will still be doing the design of Apple. No, he won't be in charge of the products. He's only going to be shipping certain things for whatever he's going to start up. We don't even know. Don't give a super chat, bro. It's cool. Don't give any money. Don't give any money. But seriously, Sneed, this is the man right here. And you can look him up. This is the guy that said there was nothing wrong with the bending iPad Pros. This is the guy who said that the MacBook Pro's keyboards are fine. This is the guy who said that the iPhone 10 and 10s are different phones. Yes, and I'm going to show that message. To hell with his ass. This man is the reason why Jony Ives' legacy was tainted. Why the iPhone 6 bends. And this man right here is the reason Jony Ives will be remembered badly. And it's not because Jony Ives built the products. He just designed it. He wrote them on paper, schematics, and everything. This man put it in operation and put his twist and put what he wanted. So, Sneed, I had to fix you there because if there's one thing I will not have is have Jony Ives be disrespected for this guy's fuck-ups. So if you have anybody you want to blame, this man is in charge of the hardware engineering. Even if his designs were ugly, this guy had a toll on it because he altered it. So let me give you an example. I'm going to read you an article here. I'm going to read you a piece right here. So Dan Riccio, the original design for the iMac was supposed to have an edge-to-edge display. This is from the website is 9to5Macs. You can look this up. So Dan Riccio and Jony Ives both made an iMac in 2019, the refresh iMac. Jony Ives quoted he would like to revamp the model and give it a fresh design. Dan Riccio later came out and said, there is nothing wrong with the iMac and it will stay the same. And is it a coincidence that he did this 2 months ago and Jony Ives leaves 2 months later? So maybe the reason why he left was because of this guy. Maybe. Not just only wanted to start his own business, but maybe this is why. So, case in point, this is the guy in charge of all that. He gets his designs, but he can tweak it and do what he wants with it. Jony Ives can't have any say because once he gives over. So this is how it works. Once you submit your designs, it's Apple's. So once Apple takes it, they can do whatever they want with it. Although you can say you were the creator, then you'll be blamed for anything. And this guy has his hands in every single design. Even this piece of garbage. The reason I say piece of garbage is because this thing really weaks. They couldn't even put a laminated display. They had to put the cheap chassis from the iPad Pro. Unbelievable. I don't know, but in companies, well, depends on enemies inside. Exactly, man. There are enemies everywhere. Look, let's just leave it at this. No company is perfect, and no corporation is perfect. Yep, unfortunately, Sneed. Riccio, ever since he became the senior vice president and took over the hardware engineering, he's been taking Ives' designs. Now, it's been out there because he's been the one responding to the problems. Usually the creator, like you said, Jony Ives would respond. But because he submits the designs, doesn't mean that they've been tweaked. Like the aluminum and the OLED. They wanted to put OLED in the iPad Pro for the refresh. He wanted LCD. They charge $7.99. For that damn price, you better put a freaking OLED display in the goddamn iPad. Unbelievable. But look, overall, all I'm going to say is this. And I'm not going to argue. I'll keep this going. If you guys want to interact, I'll definitely interact. But Jony Ives, in my opinion, is the closest thing to Steve Jobs. He believed in Jobs' philosophy, even if Jobs was an a-hole. And look, at the end of the day, even if Dan Riccio is the reason why Apple or his designs look the way they are now, there is no denying that this man had a reason for Apple being around for 30 plus years and making some fashionable designs. Even if they suck, they sold well, his name was there. And also, let's be real here. And if I want to be real with you, you ever watch those videos with the guy's soothing voice talking about the iPhone 7 and iPhone 8 with their custom display and beautiful cameras? Gee, I wonder who that soothing voice was. Jony Ives. And he actually said he got the inspiration from Steve Jobs to try and sell it like Jobs would. I'll be real with you, he actually was the reason I bought into the iPhone 7. So look, all I'm going to say is thank you, Jony Ives. Thank you for your time serving Apple. I don't think Apple's going to suffer. I think they're going to just get more people. But as long as this guy is in charge, Dan Riccio, as long as he's in charge, they're just going to keep making pieces of shit products, and it's just really not going to get any better. But at least with Ives, he still believed in Jobs' philosophy, and he was the closest thing we had to Steve Jobs. And now he's gone. Now Tim Cook's Apple is finally in play. So yeah, that's it for Jony Ives. Now, if you guys want to stay in the chat and have a little interaction, I'll be down for it. I'm not going to bed anytime soon. If you have any questions you want to ask, feel right ahead. I'm going to post this up on my main channel. You guys can go ahead and write whatever you want, if you want. Well, let's see how Apple goes. You're right. My guess is that they're probably going to pull somebody. They'll probably promote Dan to be the chief, and then they'll probably get somebody else to take his place. I don't see him being anything close to Ives. Because if he wants to say that it's fine, are his final designs in this year's device? I actually don't know. I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. Although, if I had to take a guess, no. Because the iPhones, while they are in production, well, you know what? Maybe they are. I would have to say hold on to that. I'll have to do some more research. But personally, if you want my personal opinion, I would say so. Even that ugly goddamn camera bump. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll give it credit. Honestly, that camera bump looks so stupid. But watch everybody start doing it. Maybe he will stay on as a consultant of some sort. Well, in the article, it does say he will be supplying Apple We don't know exactly what he'll be supplying. However, we do know that they are still going to be linked together, but not the way it used to be, like how he would tell people what to do and he would send in his designs. Now he will be sending them things that they need. So maybe things may change. Maybe he'll be making products that have a better build. Let's see what Sebastian said. Doubt they will. They will other do that shit, but anything is possible. Chinese phones might do. Yeah, honestly, Chinese phones. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the deal is with the whole Huawei situation. I get that they made the argument about how the Chinese looks at your stuff, but like, if you're gonna get the phone shipped in America, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be linked to American servers. Although they do bring up some points, but if you ask me, I don't really see the problem with Huawei. But honestly, it's amazing though how Huawei went from being one of the biggest tech giants in this modern era to now being so screwed. Like they can't even get access to Android, forcing the issue with Apple. That's true. That's true. You know what's funny is they were trying. I literally love it. So basically, Huawei, if they want to keep using Android, they have to use the open source. And the thing is, the open source does not give you Huawei's a monster. They will be fine. New OS. That may be the case, but you know what the problem is? Is that there's so many things that are being blocked. SD card support. They're blocked not even on their new OS, but even the companies for modems, chips, Qualcomm, maybe screens, they'll be fine. Honestly, though, if they can make their own, this is how I feel like. If I feel like things are gonna suit down, I do think Huawei will be back in business because the America has said that if they were to discuss, a deal with China, because this is all about the Chinese trading war. If they were to make a deal with China, they would probably put Huawei in there. But in the event that this still, it keeps going, in the event, India and China, yeah. But again, Sneed, yeah, it will depend on how it performs. And here's the thing, Sneed, is not even if they'll be fine, they just will not be able to keep the phone active. Like they don't have access to the Qualcomm chips, any modems. They can't even get SD support, even like a license to use Windows. They don't even have the Play Store. And the open source doesn't have the Play Store, but it does kind of have a way to get it. But it could be, but basically, it's a messy situation. However, though, if they were to get their license back, I even at first had a lot of potential, but devs didn't help at all. Yeah, pretty much. But here's the thing that I'm curious about, and I want you guys to answer. If Huawei gets back, like let's say they make a deal and Huawei comes back, do you think they'll be shipping the phones to America? Do you think America's going to get them? Oh wait, they don't need to. They don't need the Play Store. They will get developers to make apps in China. But that's the problem. How many developers did that? And even American developers, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Remember the Microsoft Edge phone? They failed because they couldn't just match the developers that want to create for their platform. I remember reading the article about it, and that's why they failed. They just could not get developers to develop certain things. So there are certain things they're going to miss out on. Will develop as also. But again, Sneed, it depends. It really depends on the situation and the circumstance. America blocked them off from everything. And everything that they use is made in America or American based. So the only way that they can be saved is if they, and this is what I think, they need to develop their own OS. They have to manufacture, actually, no, they don't have to manufacture screens. They'll be fine. Samsung is in Korea, so they could probably just send them screens and they'll be fine with that. They have to develop their own chips. Only if. Only if. And then lastly, if they were to survive, I'm guessing if they were to survive, they would definitely have to partner up with somebody to get some kind of equivalence. Shifting back, the liberals will open up the trade market. Yeah, I guess. You're honestly not wrong for that. They probably will. Not that it really bothers me. I mean, look, as long as you get a fair price. Me, I've never followed too much into politics, and I usually try not to get into politics. That's just me, though. Because every time I get into politics, like, people take this stuff so seriously. Oh, yeah. By the way, speaking of your T-Mobile, Apparently, Verizon is at risk. They're losing a key 5G battle with AT&T and T-Mobile. I was gonna actually tell you about it. I thought you were gonna cover it. I was gonna cover this tomorrow, so this will probably be just a little heads up for tomorrow. Do littles do the opposite, exactly. Says here Verizon bet big on the 5G cellular network technology. However, the company chose the wrong type of spectrum. I know you cover it, boy. I know you do, but this is a very important. Apparently, it says something how they invested in the wrong type of spectrum to accelerate the 5G. So apparently, it says here the race to 5G, Verizon risks have been overtaken by AT&T. And in Thursday notes, over the next few years, Verizon risks losing, if not the reality of 5G, then at least the marketing war. I covered that topic 2 weeks ago. Check my portfolio. I don't remember seeing it. As a matter of fact, I'll pull up your channel right now. Maybe I forgot about it. Maybe I watched it and I probably didn't see it. Damn, I love it. I was at 504 subscribers and then one idiot had to unsubscribe. I love when people do that shit. I love it, man. Let me see. I'm just gonna pull it up right fast. You said 2 weeks ago? Let's go 1 week. The merger predate, lawsuit block. Oh, you sent a link. All right, let me see it. Actually, let me pull it up real fast. I'm gonna drag it over.
What's going on, guys? It is.
Oh yeah, you did. You did talk about it. My bad. I'm sorry. I actually did give the video a like. Did I comment on it? You know what? Wow, I did. I wrote "Wow Verizon." See, this is what I'm talking about. I have a bad memory. But yeah, I remember. My bad, Sneed. But nah, it's crazy though. This is why I say T-Mobile's got the right approach, the right mindset for the 5G war. They want nationwide, not millimeter. So where you get like strong signal, but it's certain dead points. I think. Hey, what's going on, Tyler? What's going on, man? And also, by the way, Tyler, this ain't gonna be public. I'll probably just keep this private, so nobody's gonna know your name except these guys. Anyway, now we're just having a cool convo. My boy, everybody in here, this is my boy Tyler. He's one of my good friends. Definitely go check out his channel. Hit the subscribe button on him. Now we were just talking about T-Mobile. We were talking about Jony Ives, and now we're just talking back to T-Mobile. So going on also with T-Mobile, apparently now there's a discussion with 5G. So okay, Sneed, I'm gonna need your help. So apparently now that T-Mobile is adding 5G services, their plans are I'm living. I love Sneed, man. I love you, man. But anyway, sorry. So basically, because T-Mobile is now starting the 5G rollout, there have been some speculations on their plans to add at least 30 markets and also customizing their Magenta plan. So my question to you, Sneed, if you want, you could write down what you think. And also you guys, do you think T-Mobile is going to have to create a separate plan for 5G or just keep it under the Magenta but include the 5G because it's so small or in certain spots, only if you have a 5G phone or in general? Because I know they said they were not going to charge extra for a couple of years. Would this fall under it? I personally think so. Because if T-Mobile is going to keep their promises with the 5G, no reason to raise the price just yet. But if you do have people, single plan. Exactly. So it doesn't matter even if it's 4G LTE or 5G, you could swap back and forth from either or. That's what I'm saying. Says here on top of that, we look forward to bringing the broader 5G to the customers later this year with low-band capable devices that are available, according to a T-Mobile spokesperson. As far as it says here, T-Mobile is the only one. 5G isn't going to be as big as everybody thinks. However, raising the price now could prepare us for the future. Needs compatible processors. You're right. And so far, I think Qualcomm is the only one with the modems. Intel tried, but they took their hat out of the race. So we're going to probably see. I think even Huawei at one point had modems. Needs compatible processors. It says here that according of all the four, T-Mobile and Sprint are the ones that are right now in the highest race for 5G, using not only just high, but low frequency airwaves for 5G. So far, T-Mobile and Sprint are the only ones using millimeter wave bands, while Sprint also uses a lower frequency band, as well as AT&T and Verizon using higher frequencies. So basically, T-Mobile is smarter for basically using low bandwidth and millimeter wavelength. That's what I've been saying. That's a smart play. Half the places I go to, I'm on Wi-Fi. It's okay. I'm okay with no 5G. Tyler, honestly, I'm gonna be happy with. I'm gonna be happy, honestly. If I had to go to 5G, I'd probably be using that as like home internet. Get a box that could take the signal. Boom. I just read all that, Sneed. The article just said that. Yeah, I said that. Unless it came out wrong. But yeah, as I was saying, it looks like T-Mobile has the right mindset with this whole 5G race because they want it spread out further. And I think that is what's the selling point, is that they're using the low frequency, and I think that's going to be good with distribution. I only get 2 gigabytes data cap on my service. I don't get charged when I go over, but it gets throttled. Honestly, yeah. If I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm on T-Mobile's Magenta plan. My mom got the senior citizen, so she put me on as well. And I'll be real with you, I don't even use Wi-Fi anymore because the T-Mobile signal in my area is very strong. So yeah, I would say I use Signal more. And I think personally, I kind of prefer using cellular over Wi-Fi because I have Spectrum, by the way, and Spectrum sucks ass. I want that fiber optic, boy. Well, yeah, they're still gonna be playing catch up. You got a T-Mobile One promo. AT&T will win 5G. Wow, damn, Sneed, I didn't think I'd hear that from you. God damn. And you on Verizon. You on the best network. I know the Spectrum guy, so I got the. He said I got the hookup. Bro, give me some of that hookup. That internet speed be garbage. I'm looking at the Sneed. I'm looking at the cellular chart of what it looks like so far with nationwide coverage. So far, it looks like T-Mobile has 99% of America covered. This isn't on T-Mobile's website either. This is a regular off-brand because I don't want to rely too heavily on them, but they could be accurate or not. And for the most part, I gotta say there are some areas in here that they need to work on. Like for example, where I go in North Carolina, there is a dead spot, and I can see it right on the map. Right there, Greensboro. So when I was on vacation, Sneed, that was where I was calling you from. I was calling you from Greensboro. T-Mobile needs to definitely get on that fast because yeah, I figured it was just a marketing tool. But I'm looking at this chart. They do cover quite a bit of the United States, but this dead spot, this specific, I knew it. They were not in Greensville and Greensboro. They're only parts they hit, they cover. They don't even cover. Honestly, at the end of the day, as long as you just get 4 bars, even 2 bars, you'll be fine. Yeah, exactly. This whole area, Sneed, if I could show you where I live. So basically, T-Mobile still has to catch up on some coverings, but even then, they don't have any antennas out where I live. So yeah, they've got to fix that. Anything you guys want to talk about? I'm up to it. Anything you guys want to talk about? Go to Wyoming, Alaska. I actually went to Alaska. There was nothing. I actually used the cruise ship Wi-Fi. And thankfully, the Princess boat I went on the Princess boat. They gave you unlimited Wi-Fi because it was a medallion ship or something. Oh, by the way, Alaska was pretty cool too. Yeah, I talked about Jony Ives, man. I already talked about it. I was clearing up because everybody was saying how he was fault or something. You could read back the text or you could watch back this video. I'm honestly, I drop kicked a seal. You monster, drop kicked a poor seal. How do you drop kick a poor seal? I hope to God this was he drop kicked the seal. Okay, an animal seal Oh, I feel like he had designs in the works since like 2021, so we might not get anything new design wise for a while. You're probably right because with that stupid guy Don Riccio, which I was telling everybody, he looked at my girl for too long, bro. Wait, was this an actual seal, like an animal seal or a Navy SEAL? I have a feeling it's not a Navy SEAL. I'm probably getting this mixed up, but like, was this an actual seal animal? Let me bang. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, Tyler, we were talking about the guy who was in charge of like, Jony Ives' design. The damn animal. Well, at least he drop kicked it. That's good. This was the guy in charge that took over Jony Ives. That he's going to probably take over, and he's probably going to make a mockery. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it, man. Also up, if you guys, I actually want to talk about something regarding Android. If you guys are up to it, if not, you guys are more than welcome to leave. Probably going to start wrapping up soon. You studied under Bruce Lee now, did you? Okay. I studied under Grandmaster Kong, got a first degree black belt, and I still haven't used it to this day. I'm just messing, man. I am a first degree. I feel like I haven't talked much about my life, so I think I'm gonna do that later on. So, okay. So interesting story here. He was on the second floor and I was on the first. Now we starting to get the story down. Now we get the story. So apparently Google's if you guys know about Google's gaming service, Google Stadia, I'm honestly gotta say this may not be a good thing for Google. And let me explain why. I'm not saying the concept or what they're doing. I think what they're doing is very smart. Because at this day and age, we're living in a world where people don't buy physical games. They buy digital. But even then, paying every per game is starting to become a nuisance. And Google Stadia seems to fix that by doing a cloud-based game service. And so far, there's a lot of people saying that Google Stadia is not going to be a solution and that consoles are probably still going to be the same. Now, according to Game Industry Biz, they say one of the big concerns about the game streaming center on game ownership, if you can't download a purchased game on your device, it can be theoretically taken away from you. Speaking with the vice president and head of Google Stadia, Phil Harrison, at the roundtable, basically yada yada yada, basically said that they will let everybody know how it works in November, and that for people that have purchased already, have fun. So basically, this is what's going to happen. Google Stadia is going to be cloud-based. Any screen or anything, it'll adapt to whatever technology. It'll know what it's working with, so it gives you good stuff. It will be able to stream supposedly in 4K. And for the most part, it'll work with Google Chrome, Google Chromecast, Google Cast, Chromecast, whatever I'm calling Chromebooks. And for the most part, a lot of people are upset about it because of the price. Now, at first, if you think about it, the subscription price they claim, and I'm going to pull up pricing because I want to hear what you guys have to say about Audi 5000. What does that mean? What does that mean, Sneed? But anyway, back to what I was saying. Google Stadia is going to have 3 prices, and there is a twist in there. There are going to be some things you'll be paying extra for. Apparently, you are now going to, you got to go? Well, thank you for stopping by, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by. This will probably be my last story, and then I'm out for the night. But basically, Stadia is going to cost around $9.99. Not a bad price. All right. Well, what's the problem here? What's the issue? Yes, definitely take care, Sneed. I'll see you on the next one. And please, man, don't take no offense to what I was doing today. I wasn't fighting you and shit. Like I told you, I'm just trying to defend the man. Because Jony Ives, I respect it, man. But anyway, let's get back to this. So apparently, the prices is going to be, well, it's going to be released on November. I think Stadia isn't ready. I agree with that, Sebastian. I'm about to tell you. So there's going to be 3 different ones. You get Stadia Base, which is basically their regular version. Then you get Stadia Pro, which is $9.99. Again, you do have to buy the games. You are right. And then you have to pay for the hardware. A Chromecast Ultra, 3 months subscription. And then you got to get a Buddy Pass or whatever for $130, a Kickstarter. So this is why I say it's probably not ready. And the reason I say it's not ready is because why would you want to pay $10 to play on a cloud base if you're saying that you can get the games on the cloud, but yet you have to pay for the game? It doesn't add up. And I think that's why consoles are still going to be. See, I personally love consoles. I am a big guy with consoles. I will love consoles till the day I die. I'm both an Xbox and a PlayStation user, but if I had to pick which one I use more, I'd go with PlayStation. I just love the fact of coming home, picking up a controller, pressing a button, and boom, just playing games, sitting on my couch, and just playing some games. And for me, Stadia doesn't really seem to do that as well because, again, you're still going to be paying for a subscription to use the cloud, but then you have to pay for the game. So for me, I feel like I'd rather just pay one price for the console because the console will last me about 9 to 10 years. Not even joking. Yeah, the PlayStation 3 I have is still working from even way back, and also the PlayStation 4, the first gen PlayStation 4. So for me, I don't see the purpose of Google Stadia really accelerating. However, though, with that said, I think that the concept is there. They've got the concept, but I think it's flawed in some areas, and I think they really need to kind of fix that before they go to market. I'm curious to hear what you guys have got to say, but we got to do this fast because time is running and I got to get going soon, guys. So any last minute thoughts on Google Stadia? Sebastian, I know you said something. So anybody else watching, any last minute thoughts? Should have done what NVIDIA. Honestly, they should have. NVIDIA is like the king of graphics performance. So I don't get why they didn't just do what they did. Any last minute, anybody going to read out? Because I'm about to wrap it up. Come on now, we got to wrap this shit up. I'm going to give you 10, 9, 8. I mean, log into your existing games. Exactly. If I want to play backwards compatibility, that's the cool thing with also consoles, you're backwards compatible. But even though PCs are my favorite, I prefer PCs. I think PCs are obviously better than consoles, but again, PCs are for specific people. There are people that just like to, like I said, come home on a couch and play. See, you got PlayStation 4. Hit me up on PlayStation. I'll write down my username if you guys want to hit me up on PlayStation. You can play some games. I'm not afraid to anyway. This is my username. If you are interested to hit me up on PlayStation, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, final thoughts. I think Stadia's need a lot of work. They really got to work on the pricing, and they really got to, make you want to work because Google cancels everything. And yeah, that was it for the live stream. So I really wasn't expecting to go that far in or far out. I wanted to focus on Jony Ives, but of course, my main man Sneed had to come in and get some stuff in there. But Sneed, remember, Jony Ives isn't that guy. It's that guy. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode. I'm kind of debating on making this public. I'll probably make it public. Very communications internally. The way I look at it, Sebastian, if it's not working for them, they'll just give up on it. But here's the thing, though. They've been doing this for so long. At this point, it just feels like watch Front Page Tech, and then you'll understand where I'm coming with this. If you just watch Front Page Tech, you'll understand. That's all I'm saying. I can't go into it because I got to get going. But look, thank you guys for watching. For everybody that was tuned in, for the people, we actually had quite a lot more people than normal. Thank you guys for watching. I may do this more often, maybe once a month. Oh, you do watch John. There you go. He's what's up, man. I love him. Anyway, guys, as always, definitely hit the like button if you like what we had tonight. I'll probably just post this public, maybe later. You take care, Sebastian. You take care, everybody. You have guys all have a great night. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on Technoid. Tomorrow we will definitely talk about Jony Ives. I will talk about everything. And also I'll cover some other stories. So take care, everybody. Have a great night and peace.